Philadelphia Eagles coach Doug Peterson's message to Nick Foles this week was just be Nick. Foles, who is trying to make the Eagles forget MVP candidate QB Carson Wentz is out for the year with a knee injury, was not Wentz Saturday against the Atlanta Falcons. Foles was exactly what the coach asked him to be. He was good. He was bad. At times, Foles was ugly, too. But in the end, he was every bit as efficient as he needed to be to propel the Eagles to the NFL Championship Game next weekend. Most importantly, Foles was better than Matt Ryan, leading the Eagles to a 15-10 win at Lincoln Financial Field that keeps the Eagles flying for another week. Jake Elliott's third field goal of the game gave the Eagles a 5-point lead with just over 6 minutes to play, and their ravenous defense and full-throated home fans never let Atlanta get any closer. The Eagles' defense stood tall at the goal line for a huge season-saving stand with just over a minute left that finally allowed this city to breathe again. For the Eagles and their new number one quarterback trying to make like a modern-day Jeff Hostetler, it was just as relieving to get the win as it was euphoric in South Philly. There was a thick fog of anxiety hanging over Philadelphia this week with the Eagles set to host a playoff game for the first time in 4 years. The Eagles have been in a kind of funk for the last month since Wentz went down with a season-ending knee injury, and it lingered deep into Saturday's tilt against the Falcons simply because their new quarterback gave them little reason to forget their old one. Mitchell left Getty Images 4 years ago. Of course, it was Nick Foles under center for the Eagles when they lost to the Saints in the playoffs. Saturday night, there he was again, and that had many Eagles fans on edge. Perhaps that was because the Eagles, despite a 13-3 regular season record, limped into the playoffs with Foles under center. There were many inside Lincoln Financial Field who would have gladly suited up a one-legged Wentz than a perfectly healthy Foles. He has not been spectacular with Wentz out. On Saturday, the Eagles didn't need Foles to be all-world. Eagles coach Doug Peterson said this week he told him to just be Nick. The Eagles would settle for anything better than what Foles had been to this point. In the season finale, Foles' passer rating was 9.3 in a shutout loss to the Cowboys. In the Week 16 win against Oakland, it was 59.4. Week 15, it was 115.8 when Foles threw 4 TDs against the no-heart Giants. The previous week, when Wentz was hurt in Los Angeles, Foles was 6 for 10 for 42 yards. Hardly inspiring stuff. But Foles, 28, is also the same guy who once threw 7 TDs in a single game, the same guy who in 2013 during his first tour with the Eagles, became the second ever QB to post a perfect 158.3 passer rating in a single game. Patrick Smith, Getty Images. All year, the Eagles, who have never won a Super Bowl, seemed poised to put an end to that drought with Wentz under center, and Pennsylvania, at least the eastern portion of the state, now known as Wentzylvania. No part of the state is named for Foles, and after the way Saturday's NFC divisional playoff game against the Falcons started, the only thing around here with Foles' name on it was going to be either a doghouse or an outhouse. Foles did little to ease the nerves of this football-mad city in a forgettable first half in which he badly overthrew receivers, feebly missed his targets, and was fortunate to go into the locker room down 10-9 to the defending Super Bowl runners-up. While Philly was smarting this week with the Eagles getting points at home as the first underdog number 1 seed to open the playoffs in NFL history, the Falcons have been on a year-long mission to avenge blowing that 25-point lead in the Super Bowl to the Patriots. The Eagles got through a sloppy first half on the back of Jay Ajayi, the running back they acquired from Miami this season in one of those missing puzzle piece deals everyone thought was the one that might get Philly to the Super Bowl. After losing a fumble on the opening drive, Ajayi was a workhorse early on, racking up 58 of Philly's first 60 yards, including 49 on the ground in the first quarter. Foles, on the other hand, was 2 for 3 in the first quarter for 19 yards. Abipar, Getty Images. LeGarrette Blount, who won it with New England last year, followed an Atlanta field goal with a 1-yard touchdown run on 4th down to make it 6-3 Eagles in the second quarter. Eagles kicker Jake Elliott, who crushed the Giants and maybe their season with a 61-yard field goal in September, missed the extra point. As bad as Foles was for the Eagles in the first half, the Birds also didn't have much luck. A second-quarter Atlanta punt grazed Brian Braman's leg to give the Falcons